Page 25 through 30 of page 1093, we're going to talk about the slope-intercept form for an equation that can be graphed on a number graph. Okay? The slope-intercept form is this form. This is like magic. You wait till we finish this lesson. There is so much packed into this. It's fun. Okay? Y equals mx plus b. M is the slope, and you remember from previous lesson we talked about that is the rise over the run. Okay? B is called the Y-Intercept. In other words, the number where the graph crosses the y-axis. So we'll leave the y and we'll leave the x in the equation, but whatever the number is here, and whatever the number is there, it could be a fraction, could be a number, that is going to tell us the slope and the y-intercept. And from that, we don't even have to graph individual points. We can just immediately put the graph on a graph, put the line on a graph. So for instance, in this equation, just inspecting it here, I can see that this fraction 5/2 is the slope. So the rise over run is 5/2. The -4 tells me that it's going to cross the y-axis down here at -4. All right? Whereas with this one, it just says -x. Well, -x means -1x. So the rise over run is -1/1. Okay? And it will start at -5, and then the graph will continue. All right, so let's talk about these two and actually put them on the graph. I think, let me look at these pages real quick here and see if they make us Nope, okay, so far all of these they're going to give us are already in the y equals mx plus b format, so that's helpful. So let's take this first one here. Always look at where does it cross the y-axis first. That's like your starting point. So we're starting backwards, okay? We start with -4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the slope is a positive slope, so it's going uphill, and it's 5/2. So the rise is 5, so I'm going to count up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then over 1, 2, and I put a dot there. Okay, so I went up 5/2. I'm going to go up 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops. But then over 2. And now all 3 of these points should be lined up, and we could just connect them with a ruler, and we would have the line 5/x minus 4. All right, see how easy that was? Let me get rid of these points. Let's look at this one, -x minus 5. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make it plus 5. All right, just to make it different than this, okay? So my starting point is at positive 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here's my starting point. But the slope is -1. So that means the rise, instead of going up and over, means I go down and over. So down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, okay? So notice how they're all lining up. I have a straight line, and I can just continue that line, and I have the graph. All right, so it's even faster. Now I could have plugged in individual points, like I could have plugged in 0 and gotten 5. I could have plugged in 1, okay? And that would have given me 4. Notice 1 is at the point 4. I could have plugged in 2. It would have been -2 plus 5 is 3. And at -2, it is indeed 3. So both methods work. Again, I love math because math works all the time if you do it correctly. And there's different ways of getting to the correct answer. Now, let's say we got rid of this and we were given the line and asked to find the equation just by looking at the line. How could we do that? Well, this is the same formula. Okay, this is going to help us. So I'm going to take y equals mx plus b, and I'm going to say, it crosses here at positive 5, so that's what I'm going to plug in for b. I'm going to keep the x, keep the y, keep the equals. All I need to do is figure out the m. And so we can look at the line and make a triangle, all right, and figure out what is the rise over the run. 3 over 3, or you could say 4 over 4, or 5 over 5, and it's going downhill, so it is -1. All right. So as you move ahead, and even on pages, let's say 28, they want you to come up with the equation of the line, but they give you the b value and the m value. So you're just plugging it in, all right? There's nothing to solve, you just plug it in. On page 29 and 30, they give you a line, and just like we did here, you look first to see where does it cross the y-axis, that's your b value, and then what's the slope? Is it positive or negative? And then what fraction, rise over run, plug that in for m, and you're done. So that takes us up to page 30. Make sure you stop and score before you move on. When you get to page 30, 31, and 32, I think we'll do a quick video there.